everybody, it's Mr. M, and let's talk math. Now, we haven't had an actual proper math lesson for a little bit, so time to do that now. And what I'm going to talk to you about is something that may seem a little simple. A lot of people think it sounds simple when they first hear about it. I'm going to talk to you about a math strategy called counting up. Now, some people, when they hear about counting up, they think, oh, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's great. That's almost what we're talking about. But what we all learned, I know you learned it years ago, we can all count up from 1, or even from 0 sometimes. You can do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But how good are you at counting up from a number that is not 1 or 0? Because we count from 0, we're just adding a 0, and then we start counting 1. How good are you at counting up from 4? Because sometimes I ask somebody to count up from 4, and what I hear is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they start counting again. And no, that's not it. If you're counting up from 4, you already know you have 4. If you count 1, 2, 3, you're wasting your time because you're already at 4. And that's the skill we're talking about learning right now. And maybe you can already do that. Great. You can get better at it. So, if I say count up from 4, count up from 4, count 3 more up from 4. What I often see somebody do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do that again with my fingers. What I often see is somebody do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not counting up from 4, that's counting up from 1. And then counting 3 more from 4. That's almost counting up from 4. But you don't need to do the 1, 2, 3. If you know you have 4, you should know what the next number is, right? Here's 4. Your next number is 5, 6, 7. If you're going to count up from 3, right? Okay, now let's try this without doing this part first. Count up 3 from 4. You're going to count up 3, so your number is, you know, your next number after 4 is what? 5, 6, 7. That seems simple, but it's not as easy to do as people think it is. Because we're used to starting everything from a 1. And when you start counting, everybody wants to start from 1 because that's what we've learned. You have to be able to start counting from a higher number. Suppose you start, let's count up 4, let's count 4 up from 9. What does that mean? That means we start with 9. We're counting up 4. So, what is the next number? We're going to count right along this way. Actually, let's make it this way. A little easier because you're looking at me. We're going to start with 9. That doesn't, so if we're counting up from 9, do we go 9, 10, 11, 12? Is that right? If it were right, I wouldn't be asking you in this tone, would I? So, you probably know that about Mr. M by now. So, we're not starting from 9. We start with 9 before we're counting. So we're going to start 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You see the difference? When we started, if this is the 9, that means we were counting from 8. This can all get a little confusing, and I don't want you to be confused. That's why we're going to learn it, and we're going to go over it. So, work with me. Say this home. I'm going to start you counting up. I'm going to tell you where we're going to end. We're going to end at 10. So you don't even have to count what you're doing at this time. We're going to start with 5, and we're going to count up from 5 to 10. So starting with 5, so we don't need to say 5. So we're going to say the number after 5. What's that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we stop because we're only counting to 10. So how much do we have? What is the answer? If we're counting up from 5 to 10, how many did we count up? Well, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because 5 plus 5 equals 10. Neat how that works out, right? So I'm going to give you some numbers on a sheet, on a worksheet. I'm going to attach to this. And you're going to practice counting. We're going to do one or two more together. Okay? We are going to count up 5 numbers up from the number 3. So when we start counting, what are we going to start with? We're going to count up 5 numbers from 3. So was our starting number, is that going to be, it is not going to be 3, it is going to be the number after 3, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 up from 3 is 8. Do again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, and one more. This, I know you can do this, I just want to make sure that we all understand the same thing, okay? We're going to count up 6 numbers from 6. So we're going to count up 6. Now, I don't want you to be confused, so we're going to count up 6 numbers from 7. So here's the 6 that we're counting. What are we going to start with? We're counting up from 7. Are we starting with 6? No, that's before 7. Are we starting with 7? No, because we're starting with 7, so we have to do the number after 7, which is what? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 7 plus 6, counting 6 up from 7 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so it's important when you're counting up a certain number from another number, the first number you count is the number after what you're counting up from. If you're counting up from 1, you start with 2. If you're counting up from 3, you start with 4. If you're counting up from 9, you start with 10, right? It's hard because our brains have been learning to start counting from 1 since we were really little. So we got to retrain ourselves to count from other numbers, but you can do it. So go ahead, I'm going to give you a worksheet. You start counting up from that. And you can mail me, email, I'll give you instructions there. Bye.